What is up? Tonight, we're talking about talking to doctors. This is something I've been doing quite a lot lately, and it brought back to mind that not everybody feels comfortable doing this with their doctors. A lot of people don't feel like they are heard. A lot of people feel like their doctor isn't listening to them in the way that they need. And these are the kinds of things that build distrust and a wedge between a patient and a doctor. This is a major problem globally. This is not just you. There are some things, though. I've been lucky enough to be around medical staff for quite a while. Good friends are in the industry, okay? And um, first thing I don't do is ask them for diagnoses. I go to my doctor for that stuff. But I listen. And here are some tips that I have picked up from being around medical professionals for a good part of my life. Uh, Number one, this rule right here changed my whole approach to how I start a doctor visit. You've got about 7 to 15 seconds before they stop listening. Yeah, it's the first 7 to 15 seconds of your visit. I've got a link down in the bottom. Forbes backs me up on this. There's other research before that. So, whatever you have to tell your doctor that is most important needs to be in that first 7 to 15 seconds. So, what does that mean? That means when I go to see my doctor, I'm not there for chit chat. Their time is important. Usually, they're already running behind that day. So, I get it out there quick. I have a plan. What am I going to tell my doctor? I need to be able to tell them what has changed since the last time I spoke with them, both the good and the bad, and my concerns. And those have to happen really quick. So last week we did this. This week, this has changed. This has changed. This has changed. New symptom is this, and I am concerned because it's causing this. You do that, get your case distilled down to 7 to 15 seconds. Really, its target is 11. You've got a much better chance of one, getting more time of their listening. A lot of research showed that if you said something that the doctor or medical professional found of particular importance in the first 11 seconds, you actually doubled how much more time they would give you to listen to more things about what's going on. So when they know that you're conscious of their time and they know that you're articulate and that you are doing your very best to give them the important information that they need, they return the favor and go, wow, this person actually has it together somewhat, and they're not wasting time and causing these other people that are articulate and helpful to me to have to wait. So they're not just being respectful of my time, they're being respectful of all of the time of my patients that are after them. That is cool. So use that. That is a great thing about it. One of the things too that tends to get medical professionals to shut down. This is such a trap. This is really not fair to anybody on either side, because medical professionals have context for this that most patients do not, and that is the pain scale. They tell you you need to tell them how much it hurts on a pain scale of 1 to 10. Well, a lot of people say, well, it's an 11 today. It's terrible. Let me tell you, most of these people, when they were in medical school doing their internships, if they did a round at the ER, which pretty much everybody does, and they call it the ED, the emergency department, um, they've seen people with limbs missing, okay, that are screaming in agony, all right? For them, and this is how I've judged it so far, at 10, you've passed out from pain and you can't actually talk anyway. Let me say that again. A 10 on the pain scale means that you've basically passed out and would be unresponsive anyway. You're in that much pain, that much agony. What does that do now for your perception of your pain? Kind of frames it out a bit, right? So a 1 now is pretty pretty it's just different, right? And so I never say that I've got a 10 on the pain scale. Never ever. No matter how much it hurts. No matter I am like I've literally been in the doctor's office. This is just in the last couple of weeks, fighting back tears because it hurts so bad. And I told him it was a 9. And even then was probably a bit high on the pain scale. I probably should have gone with like an 8.5 just to be working in the framework that they're in. But I did frame it out. I did say typically a 10 is passing out from pain, so I'm at about a 9. Context, it just goes so far. How are they going to take you seriously if you say you've got a pain of an 11 when their framework says 1 to 10? 1 is, I'm kind of uncomfortable, and 10 is, I'm laid out or screaming and writhing in pain from a bear mauling me across the face and then passing out. Makes sense? Yeah, following, cool. Internet research. In your first 7 to 15 seconds, I would say don't tell them that you were Googling your symptoms and you believe that you have X, which gives us the next one as well, self-diagnosis. They don't care about you going to mayoclinic.com or blah, blah, blah.com, I have this disease.com. They don't care. For one, that means that they have to look at everything that you're telling them through a new lens that says this person already thinks they have something, so they're picking out things that support their theory. It's a bias which we all suffer from. Just don't do it. Stay away from it. If you feel like you have to diagnose yourself for your doctor, you've got the wrong doctor. Okay. Which comes to another one. Build trust. Building trust. Gosh, I can't tell you how many times I have heard this on the MS forums or the groups or, just different support groups. And it's not just MS, it's everywhere. It's, oh my goodness. My doctor said this, but I really don't trust them. I really don't believe them. I want another opinion. Why are you seeing that, doctor? If you have a doctor that you're constantly questioning, you need another doctor. Whatever it takes. And it's no harm. It's nothing wrong with you. It's nothing wrong with them. Sometimes it's just not a good fit. It works just like friendships or dating or anything else. Sometimes you don't speak the same language, and that's okay. Go find somebody else. There's other ones. There's other doctors. Just say, hey, look, you can be honest with them. You can tell them directly. I wouldn't recommend that as a first choice, but I mean, doctors know that it's not always meshing for them, so they get it too. Just ask for a recommendation or a referral to another colleague that just, you don't even have to give a reason. Just say, hey, I'd like to try another doctor as well, if that's okay. And they usually will hook you up because, gosh, they don't like coming away from a session with you and feeling terrible about having not heard you or questioning their diagnosis because they didn't listen well enough or they didn't understand where you were coming from. That's fine. They don't want to do that. Save them the trouble too. This one kind of goes without saying. Don't embellish. Don't tell fish stories about what you're going through. There are people that it just robs their stories. Be honest and accurate about what you're experiencing, and that's enough. Doctors and medical professionals are only as good as the data that they are provided. And if you are exaggerating things so that you can really land an emotional impact to make sure that they know that you're suffering and you need attention. Look, the data is enough. They understand it. They'll get it. Just drive the data home. Don't worry about fish stories. Don't do it. I can't say that one enough. Be accurate and articulate in what you're describing. If you don't know how to talk about it with the doctor, Talk about it with a friend before you go see the doctor. It saves you both tons of money and time. Lastly, I know I'm trying to keep this one short. Be empathetic. You don't know how that doctor's day went. You don't know what the last visit was. He or she might have had to tell somebody that they've got 2 weeks to live. And they just went from that in the room next to you, out the door, around to your door, grabbed your chart, and walked in. And now they're having to start fresh with a blank slate for you emotionally. That's unbelievably hard to do. And I can't imagine having to do it every day, all day. It's brutal. So let's afford them some understanding and some compassion and specifically some empathy. One of the things I try to do is get my medical professional to open up about something that they've got going on in their life, whether they're exercising or they're planning a wedding for their daughter or whatever, those kinds of things, and then follow up on it. Make that one of the last things that you do during your visit, because as Chris Voss says, the last impression is the lasting impression. Make your last impression one that leaves your medical professional saying, I really look forward to having them in my office again. It goes so far and it starts building that listening window, and it builds the trust and the understanding and the appreciation and respect between the two of you. I'll end on this. The last couple of weeks have been a negotiation of agony for me. I mentioned this last flare, and it basically corrupted how my brain is hearing the signals from my left arm and chest and shoulder. Um, the signals that would normally just be, "Hey, I'm an arm, I'm here," have become, "Ah, pain, ah." Like my arm is getting broken off. No, I've mentioned this before. I've been lucky enough to do some rolling in jujitsu. When the arm bar is cranking and you feel that that bone is about to break and you're scrambling to tap out, that is the feeling. And we have addressed it, my doctor, my nurses, and I, together in a way that was very expedient and useful. Had I gone in saying, "Oh, my pain's at a 15, blah 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 blah," you know what? They would not have taken my good observations very seriously. They would have had to parse through and weed out and all this other stuff. Save them the trouble. Learn their language. If you're not sure about their context for what they're asking, ask for context. Context. If they say, what's your pain from 1 to 10? And this is a really good point too. Not everybody's going to say that it's a bear mauling your face off as a 10. Ask your nurse what he or she thinks a 10 should be. And then based on that, now you know where to go. Again, it's just about that collaboration and building a communication style. So the last couple of weeks, we were able to have a very quick visit, same day of my call, which was great. Happens never. But we built on that, used accurate articulation of what was being experienced, created a plan to go forward, and a medicinal approach to quell the symptoms until we could also establish further diagnosis for what we can expect in the future. Now, within a couple of days, the effects of the medications, they just weren't enough. And that's okay. We've got this new world now where I was able to send my doctor a message through their web network saying, "Hey, here's where I'm at, And again, this is the communication thing. Here's where I was at when I visited you. Here is where I'm at today. Here is the improvement, and here is where I'm still struggling. Is there anything we can do to help? I had never asked, can we up my drugs? No. Would upping my drugs be helpful, or should we pursue another approach? That is the verbiage there. Because it's open, it's collaborative. I'm not telling my doctor, give me more drugs. I'm saying, hey, maybe this wasn't the drug for me. You tell me, I defer to you, you're the professional. We did that. And then a few days later, same story. Hey, doc, this is where I'm at based on where we were before. I've seen this kind of improvement here. I've not seen an improvement here. In my case, it was, hey, haven't slept for 2 weeks. Could really, if there's a way to improve that, I would really be open to suggestions. And gosh, last night I finally got a full 8 hours of sleep. Not together, but it only got broken up once. So that is heaven for me. That's at this point. This is huge. And imagine how long it could have taken if I scheduled another visit and had a sit down and had to tell my tale of woe in person and then hope that I got through and then have to schedule another visit. Like all of those things didn't have to happen because we utilized the communications paths that we had established, the communications method that was effective, and we executed plans and then followed up on them. It's a very orderly way of doing things. It saves everybody time. Saving time can save lives in some situations, especially in their profession. So do that. Help them help you, and then help them help others, which is the biggest thing. And that's it. So, yeah, just a few tips and tricks on communicating with medical professionals that I've picked up over the years. Would love to hear some of what you have picked up over the years. And also, if any of these are horrifically wrong, because if they are, I should stop doing them because I'm probably ticking off my doctors. Good night.